This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Lawmakers crying, yelling, even trading on the House floor the contentious bill that could have a final vote today.
And happening right now, the search is on for an Austin police officer who's missing near the border. What we know so far about the investigation.
And the White House unveils a sweeping new tax reform plan. So benefiting from the plan, some people are benefiting, how it might affect you. Good Thursday morning, and thank you for joining us for Daybreak. It is 6 a.m. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. Before we check in with Anavi Reyes for a look at the roads, let's get a look at our weather with Erica Lopez. How are things shaping up?
Kind of cold out there this morning as you're heading out the door, specifically the hill country. Temperatures are in the 40s. We're seeing a good amount of a cool down out there. 48 in Kingsland, 52 in Johnson City, 45 in Chandler Rock this morning. Our central counties are pretty much hanging around the same area. Mid-50s, some 40s further up north. Leander at 44 degrees. It's a chilly start to your morning. Good morning for the eastern counties. We have some lower 50s out there. Also Lockhart currently at 50 degrees. So the reason for the cool down is this cold front. It passed through our viewing area yesterday, brought in a drier air mass, some pretty breezy conditions yesterday afternoon, and it cooled down the majority of the Lone Star State, also cleared us out. So no one's battling any severe weather threats or any rain shower activity in their forecast today across Texas. Hour by hour, plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Your daytime high is expected to be about 6 degrees cooler than yesterday. We're not tracking 90s, mid-80s is what we're expecting this afternoon. Looks like a great way to almost get to the weekend. Anavi Reyes has the latest on the roads. How are they holding up this morning?
Good morning, Erica. Thank you. A lot busier. This is a live tech stop view at I-35 at East MLK and East Riverside. You can see that most of you guys are heading out the door now that we've reached that 6 o'clock hour. Let's go ahead and zoom in on East Riverside Drive. This is a vehicle stalled at Burton Drive. So if you are trying to cross over Lady Bird Lake, this might affect your commute. Guys, back to you.
All right, let's take a live look at the state capitol this morning. It was a late night or very early morning for lawmakers. Overnight around just before 3 a.m., they tentatively approved Senate Bill 4. The vote was split right down party lines, 93 to 54, and it came after 16 hours of emotional debate. KVUE's Corey Coffin live at the Capitol this morning to break it all down for us. Corey.
It was a very emotional night. The bill would require all law enforcement honor ICE detainers, which are requests to hold someone while their immigration status is investigated. Right now, that is voluntary here in Texas. Members of the House held back tears while speaking against that amendment. Many lawmakers sharing their own personal stories. At times, there were also heated exchanges, even amendment negotiations. Republicans offered to avoid a vote on one of the more controversial amendments in order to end the lengthy debate. But in the end, Democrats couldn't come to an agreement on how to proceed, so the Republicans pulled the offer. At times, it was even suggested that the House suspend the rules in order to push a vote through, a move one rep called unprecedented.
And think about the terrible position we are putting law enforcement officers across our state, the men and the women who protect our communities, protect our homes, protect our families, the terrible position we are putting them in by destroying the trust that they have worked so hard to build up with the communities they are charged with protecting.
Here's where much of the contention came from. The House version of the bill was different from the Senate version because it only allowed officers to ask someone about their immigration status if they were arrested. Well, an amendment changed that, making it like the Senate version and allowing officers to ask even if they're just detaining somebody, and that includes being pulled over for a traffic violation. That's the amendment Democrats sought to avoid before Republicans expired the offer. The marathon session came to a close before a final vote in the House. That'll come today at 10 a.m. I'm live at the Capitol this morning. Corey Coffin for KVUE News. Guys, back to you.
Corey, thanks. A busy night. An Austin woman in the hospital this morning after she was hit by a car walking along the southbound lanes of I-35. Happened just before 10 last night in the downtown area. The woman taken to University Medical Center Brackenridge, where officials say she's suffering very serious injuries. The two other people hurt. They're expected to be okay this morning.
A statewide manhunt continues this morning for a missing Austin police officer. The officer's patrol car was found Wednesday morning at Lake Amistad. That's in Val Verde County. The lake runs along the U.S.-Mexico border. Right now, we do not know the officer's name, but we're hoping to learn that today. APD says they were notified on Tuesday about an officer being in, quote, emotional distress. Family members and fellow officers are still trying to reach out, but have heard nothing back.
The White House has unveiled a sweeping new tax reform plan outlining dramatic cuts in federal taxes for businesses and simplifying rules for individuals. President Donald Trump's team saying the plan aims to lighten Americans' financial burdens, ignite economic growth, and simplify tax filing. But as ABC's Stephanie Ramos reports, the proposal's raising concern for many Americans, including how it would be paid for.
Initially, it was a campaign promise.
You don't mind having lower taxes, do you, anybody?
But now, just 2 days before his 100th day in office, President Trump's new tax reform plan is out, and his team is calling it the biggest tax cut in history.
It's a great plan. It's going to put people back to work.
The plan makes dramatic cuts in federal taxes for businesses and simplifies rules for individuals. It would cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 15%.
We will have a one-time tax on overseas profits, which will bring back trillions of dollars that are offshore to be invested here in the United States.
And that new lower rate would also apply to businesses that now pay through the owner's personal taxes, companies like the Trump Organization.
1, 2, 3.
This plan would also cut tax rates for individuals, reducing the number of tax brackets from 7 to just 3. It would eliminate estate taxes and double the standard deduction. So for a married couple, the first $24,000 of income would be income tax-free. But the one-page outline of the plan lacks specifics, like how it would affect a typical family.
We will let you know these specific details at the appropriate moment.
Also unclear how to pay for all these tax cuts without swelling the deficit.
We will be attacked from the left and we will be attacked from the right. But one thing is certain. I would never, ever bet against this president. He will get this done for the American people.
We also don't know exactly how this plan will affect the president's businesses because he hasn't released his tax returns, and his team has repeatedly said he won't. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump saying that he will not pull out of the North American Free Trade Agreement. The White House made the surprise announcement to Mexico and Canada yesterday. President Trump saying he believes the end result will make all three countries stronger and better. The announcement came hours after administration officials said Trump was considering an executive order to withdraw the United States from the deal.
Happening right now, authorities out in Bear, Delaware are still in an active standoff with a man accused of shooting and killing a state trooper. He's currently barricaded inside of a home. The shooting happened outside a convenience store yesterday afternoon after the trooper approached two men sitting in a car in the store's parking lot. The trooper, now identified as Corporal Stephen J. Ballard, was shot multiple times and later died. As we said before, the alleged gunman is still barricaded inside a home. The other man is in police custody. Officers are still trying to figure out why the gunman killed Ballard. Families living in a North Austin apartment complex getting some relief this morning after fighting for better living conditions and much needed repairs. Tenants who reside in the Cross Creek apartment say since the complex's owner died last month, conditions have gotten worse. They claim there are problems with plumbing, air conditioning, water heaters, and damage on the walls. They say the company that currently owns the property hasn't stepped up to make things better. Yesterday, tenants went to court to try and make some changes. Their attorneys say they are happy with the outcome.
The judge at the end ordered them to make a bunch of repairs included in a 6-page order that the judge is going to enter probably later this evening. The judge did not sign an order authorizing the removal of them as controlling the property, a receivership, which is what the tenants requested.
Now, the Travis County District Court was asked to take control of the complex and hand it over to a third party. A judge told them if repairs aren't made, he will once again consider who has control of the complex. We did get a statement from NAHC, Cross Creek Apartments, LLC, saying in part, quote, the owners of Cross Creek Apartments have spent more than $1.6 million in repairs and replacements over the last 18 months and strongly believe that all safety issues have been successfully repaired, end quote.
It's no secret Austin drivers hate driving on Mopac, especially with all of the construction. Such a mess. But there may be some relief for that congestion sooner rather than well, later. Contractors estimate more sections should be open by the end of this summer, and that's according to the Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority, a spokesperson there. The $200 million project includes a toll lane from West Cesar Chavez to Palmer Lane, along with sound barrier walls and pedestrian improvements. Last October, the northern half of the northbound toll lane opened from Far West Boulevard to Palmer Lane. There's still no hard date on when everything will be completed. Now let's check on our forecast with Erica Lopez.
Good morning. Kind of a chilly start to your Thursday. Much different than yesterday. Yesterday was muggy and warm. Today dry and kind of chilly. Temperatures right now in the 40s for the Hill Country, 50 in Burnett, 54 in Austin. We have plenty of 50s for the eastern counties, but we're about at least 20 degrees cooler, anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees cooler than yesterday morning. Your rush hour forecast is looking great for your morning rush hour and afternoon rush hour. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon, and temperatures are warming up in the 80s. We'll be closer to average for your daytime high today rather than the 90-degree daytime highs we had yesterday. Mid-80s, 85 is what we're calling it here in Austin, but lots of sun and dry conditions to enjoy the outdoors. Keep in mind that UV index is in the high category. Air quality will be moderate today. Molds in the low category due to the dry air mass that's in place, and pollen expected to be high today. So I am tracking a severe weather threat in our forecast. This is for Saturday night. We already have an enhanced risk in place, a slight risk in place for some strong storms, possibly in our area. I'm going to break down hour by hour what we can expect this weekend in the full forecast, so you're going to want to stick around. Guys, back to you.
All right. I don't think we have to stick around no matter what, right?
Do we?
We have to stick around, yeah.
I don't know.
If we're contractually obligated for 45 more minutes. Well, something new is coming to Austin.
It has some people celebrating and others scratching their heads. The new addition being added to the heart of downtown Austin.
And if you're looking for a new recipe, why not ask your Google Home device how this digital assistant is helping people in the kitchen? Daybreak time, 6:11. A look here at the Capitol. We're going to talk about the rest of the work week forecast. And again, you're pointing.
The tower's orange for the golf team.
Oh, I was wondering what you were interested in.
The golf team won the Big 12 championship again, so they lit the tower orange to celebrate.
Pretty awesome.
That's what that's for.
Nice.